Alright, for your consideration, for Summer Games Done Quick 2023, I'll be doing a presentation run of Jackie Chan Adventures for the Game Boy Advance. This would be, for consideration, all three categories: easy, medium, and hard mode, although I will be going with medium mode as the run that I'll be showing off and commentating, because there's only minor differences between the three different categories. You'll notice those differences add up pretty quickly, but as far as gameplay goes, it's not too much different. One thing I can, just making sure I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yep, I know exactly what I'm doing. Beautiful. So, what I'm going to be showing off is the middle of the road category, which is going to be medium. Not too difficult, pretty straightforward. I don't have much to say from the beginning, since this is going to be one of those categories that I could commentate a great deal of. Maybe only have one commentator helping me out in case I need serious time, but it's one of those things that I could pretty much take care of by myself, and maybe have people ask questions about the game in question, and I'll do my best to answer those questions as I can go. So, without getting too redundant, we're going to get right into the run. I'll show what it's like, go through each of the different worlds, sections, and we'll put on a good show, and hopefully this will be considered. Without further ado, let's get right into it in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so as you can see, one thing I forgot to do is press start right away. It's this part right here. Alright, so starting off right away. So I didn't quite set this up properly, but that's fine. It's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw them here, and then we can quickly get our punches that way. So you're going to notice the way that this game works is that it's a beat 'em up, and the goal is to just get through each of the phases of enemies, or goons, as I like to call them, in order to get each of the scrolls back that belong to our uncle. So that'd be fun. The one thing you'll be noticing is that the enemies can fall off screen. We try to do our best to leave them on screen so that we don't lose time waiting for them to respawn. And there should be one more right here. Yep, there we go. So sometimes we don't always get the chance to, but I like to spawn my opponents over to that general area. I didn't get the chance to that time, but it's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this goon, and we're going to throw it at the other one. Kind of the general trend for what you're going to be seeing for most of these fights is a series of punches very quickly, or a series of throws. And sometimes they'll mix together, so you'll get a good taste of what that's like. So it's one of those unusual sections where you'll have cutscenes load up with text, and can lose you a little bit of time. We try to spam our way through it in order to not lose that much time, but it's not always easy to predict when that's going to happen. Okay, I had the right read to throw the opponent to the other two. Okay, so sometimes the opponents can block, but as long as you're able to pick them up, no big deal. Just get through it and get through the punches. And so one thing I like to do when I go for the pickups is that I like to stun lock the opponent just a little bit, and then I go for another hit right afterwards. So now we're getting to what I like to call the Yakuza toughs, and they take one kick, and then we can just do the next round of 3. And that's kind of consistent with every category. It doesn't change. You'll see changes coming a bit later. Most of the tough guy human beings are pretty much the same. They take either rounds of 3, rounds of 4, or rounds of 5, whether that be punches, or kicks, or parries. It's totally up to you. Okay, so I wasn't quite prepared for that. The enemies have not been too merciless yet. Alright, and I'm starting to get good jab locks now. It's not always this good. You can see, I've had pretty good timing. See, I'm going for a turnaround. Very nice. Good tough guy section. It's not always this easy. Yo, got that. Alright, well, I'm getting trolled by the sign. It was a little slow, but I can make this work. A-okay. So the key thing here is to get a specific pattern. And I'm not getting that pattern I'm looking for. It's a bit of a jab lock. There we go. Once you get the jab lock, that's a really easy boss fight. But if you don't get it, it can be kind of painful. Now we're in section 13. This is considered sort of a training portion. There are not many enemies in each of these segments, but we need to bear in mind that they can be very trolly with how they set themselves up. That was a perfect example of such. Unfortunately, I got hit by the turret as well, so I was getting some pretty terrible luck. They can deal a great amount of damage, so for as little of them as there are, they pack a big punch, and they can just be very slow and not behave as you want them to. We're gonna hope for good patterns. This. Oh, I forgot. It's not this. It's the next section, yeah. Yo. It's this section. I forgot. Sometimes I don't think about it. Oh, I broke the chair. I didn't know you could do that. Alright, I'm going a little slow, but that's alright. So, if you can get them really quickly, it is very easy to get out of trouble that way. It is not always guaranteed to work out that way. And I've been getting pretty slow patterns, but nothing egregious in terms of damage. Oh, here we go. I spoke too soon. Alright. Alright. That's fine. So if you want to play it safe, you can go for a series of kicks like that. And I was able to pretty easily dispose of them. So I'm getting a little bit of time losses that are incurring right now, which is fine, I guess. It's not the end of the world if we do that. I'm going to go for something called the rolling items. Okay, I didn't need the last item. I just went for it just out of like instinct. Okay, they were going for quite a few jab blocks, but I was able to respond a little bit quicker. The key thing about these fights is you need to be in a good space in order to get each of the kills to work. And if you are not in a good place, you're just going to get very quickly punished for it. And sometimes it's just better to play it safe with the kicks. You can see I kind of just decided to play it a little bit lax. There's a pit right below here. I usually don't go for it till the very end, just because I know that it's going to make things a little bit easier. Just when I'm trying to get out of here, of course. And I'm going to throw this guy right below. Good, good. Big enemy behaved for me. What we like to do is we like to go low. Going low in the game will allow us to quickly... Okay, and this is another lovely little factor of the game, which is enemies just deciding to go wherever they please, and it's not always consistent. Also, sometimes the enemies will just fall off of their own accord, and sometimes they'll just fall off your own accord. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't know why, but sometimes they just do it. That was a good enemy. Manipulative spawn. It's not always that easy. Alright, now we're getting to the first ninjas, or shadow peoples. I don't know exactly what to call them. In this difficulty, they have varying levels of hit rates. In easy mode, they have 2 rounds of 3. In medium, they have 3 rounds of 3. And in hard mode, they have 4 rounds of 3, which is just lovely. It's challenging. It's moderately difficult to get rid of large amounts of them in that difficulty, so, you know. There we go. Here's a way we can get rid of them. Oh, it's just so funny to watch the AI do their own thing. I don't know why they just throw themselves like that. I don't get it. Alright, so I'm going to actually purposefully launch myself that way. Whew, that was a risky one. Alright. Alright, and like that, we are done with that section. Nice. Good deal. I'm actually going to wait for them to respawn. There we go. 2 birds, 1 stone. Most of these patterns are pretty easy. It just depends on where you are and where you want to go. Go, nice. Got there. I can actually try to corner these people. There we go. For some reason, this was the last of the goons to live through that one. So these particular areas are accented by a large amount of space, surrounded by walls. And that can sometimes work out or not work out at all whatsoever. So far, I'm doing all right. Not getting the fastest punches I've ever seen. Alright. Alright, the game is being merciful to me right now and allowing me some breathing space. They don't always work that way. Alright, pick up, throw the other two, rinse and repeat until they're gone. We're gonna wait on this one. Alright, so that's the end of that section. We're getting to the bug eyes. So the cannonball at the end, this makes it really easy to just pummel them as we go. We're gonna throw one, throw the next one. There we go. Pretty efficient use of our fight space. It's just that little guarantee that we're gonna get everything to work out. Okay, that was kind of close. I could have very easily been punched by one of them. Credit where credit is due, sometimes the enemy AI works very efficiently. We have to be ready for when they play super smart. So when the enemies are underneath the roof, we just go for them under the roof. When they're back against the wall, we'll just keep on pummeling them against the wall. Go, pretty fantastic. Oh, that's right, I forgot about this guy. We're just gonna do this. It's easier to just get the punches out of the way, and then... Okay, so this is an example of stun lock. Enemy stun lock can just sometimes be super trolly. And there is a choice to just let it play out its role, or just something like this. I didn't get the best patterns, but it was good enough where I could just kind of leisurely work my way through here. Alright, I'm not getting the greatest parameters to work with for this fight sequence. But that's alright. We are doing okay in the grand scheme of things. And we're on to our first... Okay. Alright, so I was playing kind of bad. That's fine. I expected that to happen. There we go. Alright, this is okay. We're gonna lose some time. And I was expecting this, because a couple of fight sequences didn't go all that great. Gonna take a few more of these just to get through. There we go. We're losing some time, but it's to be expected in a marathon run where sometimes you'll just get some enemy patterns that are just terrible. Or less desirable. So we just had to be prepared for rolling with the punches. No pun intended. One thing I like to do is throw as many things as I can at it. And we're coming up on our Shadow Men. Gotta love them. Pretty well behaved. Pretty docile bunch so far. I've only had a few that have, like, seriously trolled me. But, you know, other than that, it's been run-of-the-mill. Alright, good deal. That's our first sequence of Shadow People done. Here, you kind of get the deal. There is a couple of minor changes that are made here and there. Okay, so the big risk of what I just did here is that I was throwing while jumping at the same time. And one thing that can happen is that you can just get drawn into the wrong place, and it can look very bad. The reason I say it could look bad is because the train does not have anywhere to protect you from falling off. Alright. Another thing that can be of worry is that you can throw your enemies off one train car top into another one, and there can be very little you can do about it. So we just have to be ready to make changes on the fly. Okay, I barely got that to work. It could seem like it's gonna be pretty cut and dry, but not always that way. Alright. Oh, I didn't quite spawn them right away. I don't know why it sometimes works and then it doesn't other times. There we go. That was alright. Certainly not the greatest patterns. Okay. Pretty fine. I think that should be just enough. There we go. Yeah, it was. This is pretty much like sweep back and forth, get the punches in, and then some. Alright, one more set. It seems a combination of kicks and punches will work out pretty nicely. Pretty cut and dry as far as this goes. one of the risks is sometimes I'll go for a turnaround so that I don't have to worry about as much moving around. And sometimes if you're really feeling like taking some big risks, you can just rotate back and forth and do a series of punches. It may or may not work to your liking, but it can get the job done for the most part. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a punch, and then I'm just going to do this. Oh, I didn't despawn them this time. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So what you're supposed to do, and I failed to do it, is to pick the healing item and then pick it up while you're doing a flying kick up to the top. And for some reason, what that does is it results in you removing most of the oh boy, I'm getting terrible. Okay. Alright, so patterns there were not the brightest. Again, another round of kicks with a minor change compared to the other boss. Okay, alright, this is a little dicey. They can either do kick lock or jab lock. I like to do kick lock because it's a little bit easier to deal with in this section. Either or works. Jab lock's a little bit riskier. Kick lock is a little bit safer with this particular boss. Alright, so I have not explained that each of the dudes have the shadow, each of the shadow peoples have different abilities. Depending on their color. And also have different, I'm trying to think right now, and I'm kind of having a hard time. There we go. As you can see, the golden ones, they have the ability to carry items. Sometimes the problem takes care of itself, not always. The solution is not always pretty, but it gets done. So one thing we like to do for these particular enemies is that we like to corral them a little bit further downward. By being able to back them up against a wall, you can get very easy kills this way. It does not always work perfectly like this. In which case, I just have to make some minor improvisations and move on accordingly. An example is this, where sometimes the spawns will be late. They have a lot of blocks this time. Okay, so this was one of the first times where you got to see where enemy lock can be super consequential. actually had to go for some healing items there. Okay, there we go. So again, conveniently, there's a very small wall right up against that area, right next to the opening. And again, most of it just comes down to getting a very proper stationary angle. It's not always a guarantee, but for the most part, you can get it by just walking a little bit further forward and then rinse and repeat until you have everything all taken care of. And it's pretty easy to get those patterns. I like to do it with these two as well, so that they don't cause as much trouble to me. Alright, that's fine. Not the greatest. And I learned different areas to apply my punching attacks on the fly. This ended up being a very good section to work with. Alright, and we're on to our next boss. This can be an annoying boss. This is our first form of Shenbu. And we have to wait for the moon to show up. I mean, the clouds to block out the moon. And then go punching away. It was not the greatest of cycles, but you get the drill. I'm gonna leave this one up. That was a little better than last time. Okay, fine. I get it. I get it. It does not always work out this well. Alright, so I'm gonna have to hope that I can, yeah, get through there. One more cycle should do it. The reason we were able to get so many damaging attacks to work as well as it did is because I was able to use the enemy stun lock to get extra damage while the time is slowed down a little bit. It's not, like, seriously impactful, but it can make a pretty big difference. There we go. That's gonna be that. So not a terrible amount of time lost there, which allows us to move on to Great Wall of China. So this is one of those places where you want to just be ready for weird patterns, weird areas to knock enemies away from you, simply because it's just not a walk in the park. Alright, so you can see there's going to be some pitfalls soon. I did jump the gun and I thought I was done here. We got a fine example of the enemies rebelling against what they normally do. And they were doing what I didn't want them to do, essentially. Not great, but what I was trying to do is get quick as possible throws off the ledge. It did not work. Okay. A lot of the goals of these particular sections here in this level is just to exploit the ledges where they are. And if we can't, we just try to find different places to corral them over. And we just do it as much as possible, because the faster we can get it done, the more we can break the ranks of these enemies. And then deal less with things like enemy locks, taking lives. This section I like to call the legendary birds because they're in the colors of them. And if we go by that logic, then Moltres is the easiest one. Articuno is a little tougher, with Zapdos being the most challenging one to take care of them. Oh, this is a great example of an enemy who does not want to fight. So this will happen every now and then, and you just kind of have to chase them until you're able to get that final set of hits. There's really no better way around it. One ability that we haven't seen anything of yet is the ninja stars from these blue ninjas. And they will appear, mark my words, they will appear at some point, whether we want them to or not. And it's not a good thing when they do appear, because they will lead to a lot of stun lock. So one thing we don't want this is that ended up working out better than I anticipated. It was looking like it was going to get way worse. Alright. The enemies are doing the work for me, which is great. They're making my life way easier. Okay, unfortunately I did take some damage here. Alright. And sometimes enemy swarms will just not do what they want you to do. Alright, that was alright. Not the greatest. And we can just throw them off like this. For some reason, this section's put in here with the intent of just somehow crossing over. I don't know what the deal with that is. Alright. I'm just gonna actually kick them this way. Because they tend to be very trolly. And that seems to be a little bit faster than what I tried to do several times before. Okay, we're not getting the best of patterns, it seems. And not very many stun locks for that matter either. Jab lock usually works better for this boss. There we go. And then it eventually worked, but not quick enough for me to be able to save any time. Now we're getting to one of the hardest parts of the game. I got very lucky the opponents aren't able to, And, yeah, you kind of just hit them back and forth. That's really the name of the game in this particular section. Knock them into the ocean. They can take a nice, relaxing swim on Victoria Harbor. And it saves tons and tons of time by doing it this way. Just make sure you don't end up becoming the one that does take a swim. There we go. That ended up working out pretty well. But this is where things get kind of scary. But if you get stuck in an enemy lock, it's just a bad time waiting to happen. And you want to do your best to avoid as many of them as you can. We did pretty good for ourselves there. We still need to be aware of the fact that there's going to be staff men. There we go. And they'll just jump into the abyss below. Very good. So sometimes I forget that I just, like, will fat finger the pause button, and I did that right there and then. We might see ninja stars here. There we go. Managed to get myself out of trouble. That could have ended a lot worse. Alright. Here we go again. Okay, so it may look like they were not actually anywhere that resembled the stage, but they were on that singular wooden pole that you see right next to it. I like to back myself up like here. Nice. One more face. Oh, no, I forgot. This was not that one. This is the other one. Alright, here we go. Now, there's going to be 4 of them. This is where we are at greatest risk for enemy locks. This is a great example. It's not as threatening in easy mode, but in medium and hard mode, it starts to get really bad. Very fortunately, I was able to take care of at least one of the enemies. It is especially bad if you get stuck in enemy lock. There you go. You have to see one ninja star. Okay. Problem with enemy stars is that you cannot normally get out of them unless they let up or you punch back, and it looks bad when you get hit. Okay, I'm probably gonna lose this life. Yeah. I was hoping to keep 3 lives as long as I could, but not happening this time. Alright, we're gonna try to get them out as quickly as possible. There we go, not bad. Okay. Okay, thankfully, relatively incident-free. And, like that, we're done with that phase. Here we go. So yeah, you got to see a really bad example of ninja stars just trolling me endlessly. And that phase didn't go as badly. That being said, it can get way worse than this. Ooh, I managed to get out of some serious trouble there. So we're coming up on the next phase of Shenmue. The next phase of Shenmue has the tendency to fire objects at us, much like the last one, but in a different way. Great. Alright, we're gonna go for a jab lock, not getting this foot lock. Great. So, Shenmue has not been the greatest of targets right now. Alright. I am not getting the greatest of stun targets. This is very unfortunate. There we go, I got it to work this time. It's not always a guarantee, and you can just get seriously stuck if you don't have any backup plans. Alright, Siberia is also very difficult too, much like... What we want to do is we want to stay as far away from those, out-of-bounds areas, and it's like, just death itself. So what we're going to be doing is kind of just flipping as much as possible as we can. A lot of flipping and just punching, rinse and repeat until you get through the phases. Just we're gonna wait for the shovel dudes to spawn right up against us. Or maybe those are spades. I cannot tell for the life of me. Alright, well... we're just gonna throw a rock. Yeah, that works. I never know if I got everything all taken care of. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. There we go, and this is the beginning of our first little... Oh, hey, that's very unfortunate. I did not mean to jump into the abyss like that, and now we're gonna have to be kinda careful. Like I said before, Jackie Chan Adventures is pretty easy to... easy to get locked in the wrong places. Alright, so this is why I'm kind of a bit nervous. Alright. Fortunately, I had a solution for that problem. It does not always work out like this. Okay, not the greatest spawns that I've ever gotten in my life. Alright, that saves a lot of time. Just being able to do that. Alright, so that was a long course method way of just getting rid of the enemies. Whew. It is not always this easy. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to let all the Yakuza toughs gather up, and then do that. And just grab that. Whoa, I've never seen that happen. Okay, so I'm going to lose a lot of time there. Hopefully it's not terribly consequential. Uh-oh. So I've been having the weirdest jump depths that I have ever seen in one of these runs. Which I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, you would expect a bit of normalcy in how the opponents behave. Sometimes I guess the opponents just refuse to play by your rules. And that was a perfect example of just how the game does not want to let you off the loose. I thought I was jumping mostly horizontally, but there was a bit of vertical, I guess, in that one. What I mean by vertical, I mean the, this game, I want to describe this as being a bit... I'd like to describe this game as having some level of isometric work in its gameplay. Okay. I'm still not quite fully at ease, because, like, part of it just has to do with the fact that you can just have sudden jumps kill all your runs off. Well, I could feel the noise from all those blocks. And I just realized now that that would be the better place to lead the opponents to. Nice, alright. And now that I've had a chance to sort of make my mistakes here, I'm learning from them pretty quickly. There we go. Pretty good deal. That was perfect. That's what I need to see every time. It's amazing what happens when the problem elegantly solves itself. Doesn't always work like this, but you can't complain when it does happen. And that was a great example of what happens when things go right. Great. Nice. Great, one more phase should... Oh, no, that's right. This is a little different. They don't always operate the same way. Oh. Learning a lot about how, like, the game operates as far as enemies work every single time. There's just new stuff for me to find. And just, like, being prepared for when things go terribly wrong. Alright, I'm gonna let them come over to me. That was a very efficient way of dealing with a bunch of enemies. Oh, I forgot about this guy. Alright. Let him walk over to me. Good deal. And that's gonna be... That would normally be time save in any other circumstance. But because we were... Because we were not really in a, Alright, buddy. Come over here. Okay, very fortunate for me. That could have ended much worse. Alright, we're on to the final stage, which is Alcatraz. And this is going to lead me to one of my favorite parts of this game, which is Denbu one more time. So these bars here are meant for you to pull underneath them. Because, of course. Yeah, we're going to try to turn it around. There we go. Nice. Good management. A lot of this, what this speedrun requires, is just quick reaction time to enemies unexpectedly showing up in places and just giving you patterns that you don't want. And, you know, that's one thing I like to show off. Alcatraz, this particular level is based off of, like, finding places to corner your opponents and get very quick kills to feel the victory. Hope that your opponents don't find places to corner you. Alright. So that was not the quickest, but, you know, you got the job done. What we're gonna do? I'm gonna just kind of hope that, and that worked out well for me. Oh, interesting. Alright, well that's fine. Those minions are gone. I'm actually going to go for a very safe cadence of kicks. Alright. With that being said, I'm going to try to grab a healing item while I'm up here. Here we go, that's one. Alright, here we go. I'm going to try to get them all in one corner. That is not working out too well. Yeah, I got the worst possible patterns I can pick up. Alright. Alright, so I may end up losing a life already. Yeah, I sure did. What I was trying to do, and it didn't work out very well, what I intended on doing was getting very quick patterns by cornering each of the big guys in one area. Unfortunately, they pretty much walled me out on both sides and managed to get an enemy lock, and they're down to one life. I'm going to need to tread very carefully. Okay. Another case where I'm getting walled out. There are defensive mechanics we can do to get out of it. One is to block, but as a speedrunner, it's only situational. It doesn't work out too well most of the time. What I like to try to do is to be able to quickly just get out of the scenario that I got stuck in. One way I like to do that is to just walk over like this. So again, much like one of the other segments of the game, you'll just be able to easily manipulate your opponents here. This worked out much better with the Yakuza Toughs compared to the... This worked out way better comparatively. Alright, yeah, that was very fortunate for me. Sometimes the game will not give you good enemy patterns. Yeah. Alright. I had to just kind of acknowledge that I was dishing out some trouble here. Alright. Come on, let me get some good crowding mechanics. Alright, well... okay. I like to try to corner the opponents, but that does not always work out. Alright, so we got this boss here. We're gonna try our best to stay alive as long as we can. Once again, gonna try to get a kick lock. Alright. That was very well done. Honestly, I may change my mind to go to jab lock. It seems a lot more intuitive, what I was trying to do before. What I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to... I'm gonna just purposefully let that one go, do its thing. I am trying my best to get this fight completed in as much... So, a lot of this is just avoiding getting hit at random times, and I am doing alright at that. Okay. We're gonna try to avoid all that. Right? Right. Okay. I'm gonna lose a life there. Yeah, that's fine. I was trying to see if I could get it done in one try, but it didn't end up working out. Now I'm just gonna play it as recklessly as possible. So, I'm gonna lose a little time here because I'm being launched off into the side. And the leg that results from being launched out of the tornado is gonna result in a fair amount of time loss. So, get through the cutscene. And... time. So, my final time was... 107.54. As you can see, that is run of Jackie Chan Adventures. So what I'm thinking, based off how this went, I think an hour 20 as what happened to me on Siberia could most certainly happen to me at a few other levels, so having that out there also just accounts for some of the possibilities. Roll at me. So, all that difficulty off a hard mode from all last week. One of easy. Those will be the... They're not too much different from each other aside from how many hits each of the enemies takes per difficulty. A couple of things that you can exploit. So, I wish I had more to say, but forward. About the run. But that's gonna be for submission showing Jackie Chan Adventures for the Game Boy Advance. I'd like to once again ask you for your consideration for this one on viewing the rest of the video. I'll have extra links down below for other runs that I have done in the past. Other than that, that'll be it for me.